Favor and grace is here just in case. It's Rhyme and Reason 791.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're here.
Hey there, Tony here. How you doing today? I hope it's great where you are. I hope your life is going well. I hope it's not too spooky in the situations that are happening politically and economically, etc., etc. But, life is full of challenges, to say the least. We need a lot of favor and grace, and that's my segue, favor and grace. It sounds favorable and gracious to me. How about you? But maybe I'm just being too literal, right? Maybe those words aren't conducive to your ability or your willingness to share information about eternity. And maybe I should clarify why I'm even bringing this up. Yeah, there's an idea. Okay. Well, first, here's a quote from a king who lived a long time ago in a land far away. In a land far, far away. As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Now, that's a quote from a king in a land far away a long time ago. Contrast that with something that king's dad, who lived even before that, who was also a king, what he wrote. And here's the quote from him. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Wow, that sounds a lot more upbeat to me. I like that one. The first quote was from King Solomon, and he's the king who he was given wisdom from God, and you can see a lot of wisdom in his writings, Proverbs especially. In fact, links that I share on tonyfunderburk.com/favor and grace that coincide with what I'm talking to you right here and now about. Those links will take you to that quote and that section where Solomon wrote the Proverbs that included his wisdom, Proverbs, along with a lot of other things that he talked about, but wisdom was the big part of it. And here's the thing. I don't know positively for a fact, but it seems highly likely that Solomon did not go to heaven when he died. And you would think someone who had that close connection, who was asked what he would want from God, and he said wisdom, and it was given to him, and then he had riches, and wow, you would think, hey, things are working out for old Solly boy, because but he didn't, because he squandered that favor and grace that he had received. Yeah, by many accounts, he took 700 wives and 300 concubines for himself, and I'm sure they're rounding off the numbers, but still. That's 1,000. That's 1,000 women. I don't know how any man could manage more than one wife, let alone 700. And I read a blurb somewhere that said that many wives and concubines showed Solomon had intermarried with all the nations, that he had in some way extended his dominion to the ends of the earth. Wow, that's actually feasible. You have that many wives and concubines, and I'm sure he wasn't keeping track of every single one of them and their lineage and their genealogy. He just wanted them probably for personal manly reasons. But let's take in contrast his dad, King David. He had 8 wives, and that's really still 7 too many, but that's a rabbit trail I'm not going to go down right now. Anyway, the contrast between David and Solomon is evident when you contrast the book of Ecclesiastes with the book of the Psalms. Ecclesiastes was Solomon's writings, and the Psalms were mostly David. And I guess I still haven't cleared up why I even brought any of this up, right? And it's because I'd rather see you, if you're a Christian, focus more on the goodness and mercy parts and less on the iron sharpens iron parts, especially if you seek favor and grace from God. Speaking of favor and grace, here's a song that mentions that, and I'll be right back after that.
We're riding our high horses of our hearts we think we see. Fallible searchers are we, without a standard to judge how high we can be. We're riding our high horses. We're wearing our best leather and lace. We're riding our high horses, hoping to ride them away, ride them to favor and grace. We're riding our high horses. We're wearing our best leather and lace. We're riding our high horses, hoping to ride them away, ride them to favor and grace. To think ourselves wise, we soon become fools. We're panning for gold while we give up our jewels. We're riding our high horses. We're wearing our best leather and lace. We're riding our high horses, hoping to ride them away, ride them to favor and grace. We're riding our high horses. We're wearing our best leather and lace. We're riding our high horses, hoping to ride them away, ride them to favor and grace.
Yeah, so instead of getting up on your high horse, talking about how iron sharpens iron, and you like to say that because you think you know stuff and other people need to know what you know, and you act like you want to know what they know, so you're willing to let them sharpen you too, and all that kind of stuff. I see that all over the place with Christians, but the favor and grace I don't see quite as much, and I believe that's where we are. That's where we should be in this day and age, the favor and grace part, because the world needs to know that there's enough iron sharpening them out there to knock them down into little, pieces, and they need something that's going to help them win back their life and, give them hope. So favor and grace are going to do a much better job of that. And if Christians are talking about that, the goodness and mercy parts, that I believe helps to foster humility. And, those iron sharpens iron parts tend to foster haughtiness. That's why I said that. I've seen it way too often. And that's why I wrote this song, High Horses. It talks about the perils of thinking too highly of yourself. No one's automatically immune to that kind of pride. I'm not. No one else is. So anytime you feel the urge to use some of your iron, let's say, to sharpen somebody else's iron, just take a moment, pause just for a moment and think about whether it truly falls under the love your neighbor as yourself category. Make sure that it would help you express God's favor and grace to those who love him, and his willingness to share his favor and grace even to those who don't currently love him, so that they could have eternal life. He does that in order for them to have eternal life. He offers it to everybody, but he doesn't force anybody to take it. We all get to make that decision. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rhyme and Reason podcast. It's always brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com. Tony Funderburk, not thunder, like lightning and thunder, but funder, like it starts with fun and ends with Burke. TonyFunderburk.com, where you can go over there and sign up to get my emails, and you'll get free stuff if you do, a book and some music, and it's fun stuff. You should do that. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, life does have rhyme and reason because God made you.
Is a rhyme and reason.